bar with long tables and everything. It's like an ale house almost. But they have great sandwiches.
The Troy Brew House, is that where?
No, it's in Albany.
Albany.
Shoot, I should. Well, actually, it's going to say right on my. Or did I pay cash? Chase. Yeah, I must have signed for it.
We won't say anything bad.
We're recording right now?
Yeah.
Oh.
Hi, since there's so many new people, I'm just going to say a quick welcome. Welcome to the Orchard Club. I feel like it's a ship and we're going to sink. So if you have questions about the space, you can talk to me during the intermission, but we're really happy to have you here. And these two have been a dynamo team for the past year plus.
Yeah.
And we're really glad that there are more of you to join the conversation. So when you do want to say anything, just speak up so that you get on the tape. It is recorded. We stop recording during the intermission so you can be really open and loud about whatever you don't want to do. Turn off your phones. Yeah. And please turn your phones off. Or on to silence.
My phone doesn't
Your
want to recognize
phone
my
is on?
It doesn't want to recognize my fingerprint.
Take it away, my darling.
Okay, well, thank you for coming. I can't believe we've been doing this for more than a year, so long that we were able to take a break in June, and we've missed 2 months. How was your summer?
It's been great.
It's been great. Well, it's fortunately, nothing was going on in Washington or around the world, so it was easy to take the time off.
Quiet month.
Yeah. And how about you all? What's the best thing anybody did during the summer?
The best thing.
The best thing.
Prince Edward Island.
Oh, okay. She rises right to the top. That's the mark to beat. We did the whole rainforest in the Olympic Peninsula. That was amazing. That was amazing. But I'm very happy to be back here. We have to catch up.
A lot.
Jay and I cheated, and we talked a little bit ahead of time about topics. And I'm holding up like 2 pages of things. And I have to tell you, we are not going to mention, unless you guys bring it up, explosive diarrhea or scummy ponds in Washington. They are not on our list.
We didn't even talk about
We did not even talk about it. I know. That's how much
Wow.
is going on. And we still may not get to it all, depending on how much you talk. And I hope you will. The rules here is that this is not a lecture. This is not like a presentation. We just talk. I wish I knew that some of you were MAGAs and you would talk back, because a dialogue is what we really want, but mostly it's kind of a common bereavement group it's turned into. Yes, exactly. And some of this is played on my podcast, so it's not just public, it's really public. We broadcast it. And we like your comments. And if you steer us in a different direction, if you don't like where it's going, if you don't like our topics, you're allowed to change it. We'll go along with you. A salon, the idea is that people who have different interests, but they're all smart, which includes all of you, they kind of guide the conversation, right?
Exactly.
So we thought we'd start off with a little game called Dead or Alive. Okay? Dead or Alive. Now that we have live mics, it's appropriate. So we're going to start with an easy one. Lindsey Graham, dead or alive?
Mostly.
Yeah. Mostly, because the Lindsey part is dead, but now there's a Darlene Lindsey.
Yeah. And I think he is going to haunt that. I think to get to Trump's endorsement, and to get the appointment, she had to make some promises. It had to be real clear. I don't think Donald Trump is a cross his fingers and hope for the best guy. He's very transactional,
right.
And I'm sure he said flat out to her, "You're going to vote the way I want you to vote, right? Because that's what your brother would have done. For his memory, you got to be with me."
Yeah, I think he made a deal, and I am very conflicted about this whole thing. It turns out that there have been, over history, 65 women who have been in the U.S. Senate, and fully 1/3 of them got the job, as Darlene did, by someone dying, their husband or their brother or their father. And they end up in it. And it's similar statistics for Congress, although there are more representatives who have been. But the Nepo appointments are appalling to me. Yeah. Being a U.S. Senator is not like an easy job, and she has no experience with it. It's like me saying, okay, I live with a composer, so I want that commission for the new symphony you're getting written, because I could do it. Doesn't that give you some pause that,
The Senate was always considered a more, for lack of a better word, it's anathema to say this in American society, but it was a more elite position. It was always considered that. And the Senate, by having two people from each state who were who had 6-year terms, would be kind of immune to not immune, but less vulnerable to the pressures of being a representative, having to
Right.
run every 2 years and so forth. And I think there was a sense that it was a more, well, it was. It was a richer class of people. It was a more educated class of people when they started, and I don't think the founders made any real bones about that. That they expected the Senate to behave more thoughtfully.
yeah, deliberative
Deliberatively.
body, right. We have hit on this idea, though, that experience in politics is not like experience in medicine or law or name any other field you want, that's a plus. So Hillary Clinton, it was baggage that she had all of this amazing experience in government. And so Darlene is fresh and clear of the influence of
don't think that's a good
Washington.
I don't think it's a good idea. How long was she?
How long were they married?
No, it's
no,
not.
this is-
No. Lindsay definitely did not marry a woman. Honey. No. This is his sister,
Oh, that's right.
and her line is, well, we were raised in the same family, we have the same values, and he will be watching over what I do.
Yeah.
His old values or his newer values?
His Trumpian values, I believe, are the ones that count, as Jay mentioned.
Yeah.
A great TV series where the person that got to be the senator because she shouldn't have is consulting with the ghost of.
So Lindsay, half dead.
Yeah.
All right, next one.
Can I just say?
Yes, you can
But
say.
it's not,
Sorry.
Yeah, go
it's
ahead.
only to fulfill his term, so it's only a couple months.
Yeah, but she's already announced she's going to run again, and as Jay mentions, she's likely to get Trump's, support, which
Not
means
necessarily good.
Yes, it's still not.
in South Carolina, you still think that's not good? It gives her a heads up, I would say. Yeah.
Woman.
Oh yeah, we don't like women in this country, do we?
Maybe he'll be a really good candidate on the Dem side against her.
Oh yes, because the Dems are so good at picking the perfect candidate. Look at Maine.
Oh, I know. I know.
That was almost an act of defiance going on up there. I've got friends who are real fans of him, and thoughtful friends who aren't rabid
Maggots.
rabidly political people, but they loved Blattner, and they thought, finally, fresh face. And again, another person with no political
Yeah.
experience being elevated to the Senate. And the Senate,
He
for
cleans
better or
lobster
worse-
traps. Perfect for the Senate.
For better or worse, the Senate is still considers itself to be, even on its worst days, Thune is better than the House.
Yes.
The Senate run by John Thune is better than the House. And even, I won't say
Very low
Mitch
bar,
McConnell,
may
who
I-
I think
may I-
we established is.
No, we haven't
We
done
haven't
him
gotten to him
yet.
yet.
Somebody else before we move on to the next dead or alive? Okay, dead or alive. Maybe it's easy, maybe it's hard, not sure. Mitch McConnell.
Unknown.
Unpopular.
Walking, what is that called? Like a-
Brain,
Walking Dead,
Walking
like
Dead.
a zombie.
Walking Dead, a zombie.
brain dead.
We'll find out, what is it, August 3rd?
August. So of course the story is that he is brain dead or definitely incapacitated, if not biologically dead, and that the Republicans want to withhold this information until it passes the deadline set in law in Kentucky, so that the seat is just open. We don't have right.
And
we don't have another
somebody
elec-
can pick him.
Yes.
Somebody
yes,
can pick
somebody-
the successor.
Is this a rumor, or is this proven?
It's how do you prove it? That's the issue.
Well, you
No.
can't. I have to agree with whoever it was that came by me on my Facebook feed who said, why hasn't some journalist figured this out yet? Why
They
hasn't
have.
some journalist?
Aaron Parnas.
Yeah.
Does anybody look at his Substack? He has stationed himself outside the hospital.
Every day.
He goes every day, and he reports
Won't
on
let him in.
McConnell's security detail is there. No word from his office, but he's there at the hospital. And why isn't the governor of Kentucky there? And And the answer on the other side as well. This is Senate, not a state office, but go ahead, Dean.
Question. So what's the deal about August 3rd? Is there something about X amount of days that he's allowed that he's not there, and then they have to? What's
Yeah, this is.
what's the deal about that?
Familiar with that.
It's a very good question and really hard to explain. They changed the law because Bashir, the governor of Kentucky, is a Democrat. And so the Republican-run legislature did not want to be in a situation, as we are right now, where a Democrat would be picking the successor. So they made it a law that the seat just would remain open. If the death is reported after August 3rd, that's the period of time, between August 3rd and November 3rd. It would just remain open
Till the end of the term?
till the end of the term.
That's crazy. So they have no representative.
Right. They don't have any
No, senator.
representative
They don't have
now.
a senator. It's
Yeah.
true.
They don't have
But I
any.
mean, it can't do as much harm as a live Mitch McConnell could. I mean, it's just a blank.
Well, right, for the Democrats, that's still a win, but if from the Republican point of view, if they had said, oh, he's incapacitated, he's not coming back, Bashir would have put a Democrat in. And what would that have done? So that's what they're trying to avoid.
Right.
And it's, as someone pointed, David, I think you pointed this out, it's the last little tricky, sneaky procedural trick
Yeah.
that McConnell pulled on America.
I thought he could, that he still wasn't allowed to appoint anybody, because it was just that if it was before August 3rd, they had to have an election.
Right.
But after that,
The seat remains open. So it's still to the advantage of Republicans with
Well, I
that.
wonder if they would have his wife, Chow, in the seat.
Oh, yeah, Trump would hate that, because
Massachusetts-
you remember she was his transportation
Right.
secretary, but she broke with him and quit after January 6th. She protested what he did, so she's not in good standing. David, did
Well, I
you?
just say in Massachusetts, if somebody in Congress doesn't show up, they can send the state patrol after them and make them come in and do what they're supposed to do.
Oh, they-
Maybe they can't do that in, where the hell is he?
Kentucky.
Kentucky, right, yeah, of course they
Right,
could do it.
different state laws.
but if he's having all these phone conversations with people, surely he could call in a vote.
Well, I mean, even Scott Jennings, who you remember, he's that horrible guy on CNN who's the Trump spokesman. And he's the first one who said, I had a 20-minute conversation with him. He's great. Even he is now saying, I've not heard from him since that conversation. He really does owe us something. But it's not coming.
So this is a bit of a right turn on this
Okay,
particular
you're
topic.
allowed.
But I'm curious because you're a former I don't know if you're ever former investigative journalist, but you're an investigative journalist.
Mm-hmm.
Where's the line? So this guy's camping out at the hospital. Everybody knows who he is. Why not send an unknown reporter
Yeah.
to walk past and just go into the hospital and find out where's the ethical line on that? And have you ever done undercover work like
my
that?
favorite story is from your newspaper, the Times Union, where they were covering the Porco murders. Just some of you from Albany, right? It was a just hellacious murder case where, as it turns out, college kid axed his parents. The father was killed, the mother was horribly mutilated, and she was taken, axed, maimed, to Albany Medical Center. And the Times Union was getting all these exclusives about it, and the police had totally locked down the hospital. There was no way reporters were going to get in. But Brendan Lyons, amazing investigative reporter, love him so much, had story after story. It turned out his wife was in the hospital for a pregnancy. So they were not paying any attention to him at all. He would just kind of mosey up. So that's the ideal way to do it.
Yeah.
But you can bet that with Mitch McConnell and with the Republicans possibly pulling a trick of the magnitude that we're talking about here, there's no strolling past his room.
No.
Yeah, I suspect that whole floor is blocked off. There's no way that you
Probably
really,
no other patients on the floor.
no other patients that you can get gossip from are patients, yeah.
If he's
Yeah.
even there.
Well, that's it. They had announced, his office said, that he would come back when he was ready. He was going to go into rehabilitation, but did not say whether the rehabilitation was in a unit in that hospital or someplace else, a rehabilitation center, which would be common in Albany
And his
community.
detail out there might be a decoy.
Exactly. So we don't know any of that. We don't know any of
And that
that.
picture of him in a plaid shirt and
That
jeans.
was ridiculous.
Didn't that convince you that everything was? He never looked so
And
good.
the side by side of him, like the last day that he had to be like escorted out. He looked 150.
Yeah, strokes do you good, Mitch. You look
Apparently
great.
so.
Yeah, it's crazy. I'm sorry. It's
Is there a law that says anything about the length of time that it can go on like this? Or that-
no. There's nothing
No,
about that. And in
there's some-
fact, to me, that's the. I'm sorry if I
I was
interrupted.
just going to say, there's some extraordinary
This is-
stories about people who have gone, seats that have been empty for years.
Well,
Yeah.
Gabby, what's her name? The woman who was
Gabby Gifford.
Gabby Gifford. I think that was similar to this. She was shot in the head. She lived, which is amazing enough, but you do not recover from a shot in the head easily or quickly. And all the time she was there was no talk about replacing her. So the Democrats do this too. And her congressional district was not covered for more than a year while this all played out. That's wrong. And to me, the bigger issue of Mitch McConnell is, what rights do we have as citizens to know about the health of elected officials? And I would put Donald Trump into that. Is he dying? Is he senile? What's with the hand? What's with the neck? How come there's no scar on his ear? There's a whole lot I want to know about him.
Why is he dozing off at?
Why is he dozing off? Even at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, he was
Because
closing.
he's up all night texting.
Yeah.
He's up all night on Truth Social sending out vile posts.
That's his printer doing that.
The printers, the renegade printer.
Or it's that woman who's with him all the time, who shows him only good articles about himself, and writes it. See, she writes some of his posts for him.
Yes. Oh yeah, we're going into conspiracy theories here for sure. But to me, if Democrats get back into control of any or all of the houses in the White House, one of the first things I'd like to see is a law, a strong law on transparency about official health. I mean, we have a 92-year-old senator from Kansas. It's not like there's only a few of these senile old guys and women. Yeah, Dianna Feinstein certainly was guilty of the same thing. They are not represented. They are not doing their jobs, and we let them stay in office. We pay them a lot of money. They get a lot of benefits, and they're not doing their job, and we allow it.
Part of the problem is where is the real impetus going to come from? Because so Democrats would like to have it because Mitch McConnell ought to not be there, and what's his name? The guy who finally did. I think he was wheeled out from way back in the 40s. That segregationist.
Strom
Thurmond.
Oh, there's a whole bunch of them. The guy from Utah,
Yeah. Was it Mo Udall?
Mo Udall.
It
Was,
doesn't matter what party.
No.
We need younger people in there anyway.
Yes.
thank you. Yes, that's what this is really about. It's time for a generational change, and I speak as one of these old people.
But the problem is, where is it going to come from? Because what you get is, so when people, usually senators are representative of their states. So, yeah, I want to get rid of the old Republicans, but I don't want to get rid of the old Democrats because,
I do.
Well,
Starting
I
with
do.
the Schumer. I get out.
I was speaking at the generic
Generically, yes, yeah. No, there's a lot of old people. Period.
I agree. Time to go.
Yep.
I see a hand way in the back. Is that Jenny?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, so, then they say, well, look at Biden, what about Biden? But we, the left, would have agreed with that and said, yes, he should be out of office.
I believe we were the quickest to turn on him after that horrible debate with Trump. Yeah,
that was awful.
that was,
And if we can say that a person needs to be at least 35 years old,
Yeah.
at least 35 years old, why isn't there a max?
yeah. Why can't we say you can't be more than?
Yeah.
It's the same. It's the same thing. And yes, that will hurt some few people who are outliers on both sides. But overall, isn't that a good policy?
But they can contribute in other ways.
Yeah.
Should they choose to stay in politics, they can contribute in other ways.
The federal judiciary is a great example of this. You cannot be in the federal courts after a certain age, except you can be like a substitute judge. Well, Sandra Day O'Connor did that. The Supreme Court's the one exception, of course. They don't have ethics laws either. They're just like renegade, horrible group. But that's a whole nother salon.
Yeah.
Okay, any more dead or alive?
Yeah, we have a whole bunch. We're going to be here all afternoon with Dead or Alive. Yes.
Rosemary,
Dee.
could you guys pull your mics a little closer?
Speak a little louder.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
We're not going to touch anything. We're going to let John do this. We'll take a.
There we go.
This is all set up for recording. You can't hear us, Dee?
I can hear you better, but Jay not so much.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Better?
Yes.
Oh, I can hear it now too.
That's better.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah,
Better.
much better.
I can hear myself.
Okay.
You're over there, but.
That's over there. Jay. How you doing?
Wow, I'm hearing the reverb here.
That's great.
Okay, dead or alive? Oh, we have. Wait. Sorry.
What do you think of the idea? If someone could be 80 or 90, but they have to take like a cognitive test and have it, by independent
Right.
No.
psychiatrist,
Different test.
independent.
I don't want to take any kind of.
My mother had dementia. And she had good days and bad days. What if the guy took the test on a good day and the next day he's like blithering? No.
But that's like saying, I can't work in my 90. I mean, I want to work in my 90. That's like saying.
You can work, but you cannot be a federal judge. You can't be the president of the United States in your 90s. You cannot be a U.S. senator in your 90s. I have no problem saying that. Chuck Grassley, go home.
But if you're really in good shape,
No,
you
but.
know.
Then you
I
can
think
shake
that's
on
discriminatory.
75 and get fired.
Laws are not made for exception. Laws are made for the general rules. They're made for
You could
general.
always get an exception for one person if you really had.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't disagree with you on the heartfelt part of it, that you don't want to be told you can't work anymore. But as Rosemary said, you can work. It's just there are some jobs you're just not going to be able to do. Representing the people, running a country, running an entire country and being responsible for it. Some of these people are just showing up to vote. Well, yeah.
Okay, D.
I don't think it's an age issue. I think it's a matter of term limits. That's the
No.
answer.
I'm for age, not term limits.
I'm for age too.
Because
The-
term limits, I figure voting does that. And
Right.
get rid of lobbyists, okay. The lobbying thing, that's a big thing, but otherwise, term limits. it's
You cannot get
votes.
rid of lobbying and run a government as big as the United States. It's been tried. Obama tried
But
it,
there's
and it was a
gotta be limits
disaster.
Put on it or something, because the public should be your term limit. I mean, if
Right.
you're voted out, right? That's your term limit.
Yeah,
But if I like what you're doing, I wanna let you keep going.
But look at the Supreme Court. They have a lifelong appointment. I think that's so wrong.
Oh, I agree, but that's a different, I think that's.
But they're neither term limited nor is there a voter check on them at all.
There's
they're
no
kind
check
of
on them.
They're a thing unto themselves.
Yeah.
They're a
I
thing.
know. Well,
Yeah.
that's why there needs to be legislation passed to limit it.
Yeah. The problem with the term limits, and I've been watching this argument for years, ever since I started covering state government, is that in a pure sense, you're absolutely right. The voters are the term limits. Your vote is the 2 years or 4 years that you run really is your term limit, and maybe
They
they'll
set
renew
the
you,
terms.
maybe they won't. The problem is the power of incumbency and the money in politics is so powerful. I've got a stack of stuff from my assemblyman. Just happens that he's the one in my line of sight right now, and I don't know if I'm going to write about it or not because I only write one column a month. So I don't know if this is the column I want to write, but I am getting campaign literature. I have been getting campaign literature from this guy for 6 months, paid for by the taxpayers. This is not informative material. This is not telling me. This is telling me that Chris, whatever his name is fighting for me in the assembly. He stands up for the working man. This is not informative mail that I should be getting from my government.
Are there ever informative mail-outs sent
Yes.
out? There's not. I
Yes.
never get them. All I get is vote for me, I'm wonderful. But I never get anything in the mail that says, this is what I
Bernie
stand for.
sent stuff.
Hmm?
Bernie.
I don't think the mail-
I'm not talking about,
Someplace where it's coming.
I'm talking about just in general, people running for office.
I get
never
some-
get anything that's-
I would like to see Bernie
not the
term
campaign
limited.
literature, but the mail that's coming out of the Assembly or the Senate. I do often get, here's how you can navigate government, here's what we're doing, here's some new programs you should take advantage of. That kind of stuff isn't bad to
I
get.
don't get any of that.
But,
All I get is vote for me.
Yeah.
That's all I
Veterans
get.
get that stuff.
You might have to sign up
Yeah.
under their page.
Yeah, but you shouldn't. I mean, that's the kind of thing everybody should be getting. These are my accomplishments, this is what I stand for. This is why you should vote for me. Not, I'm a Democrat, I'm a Republican, vote for me. I mean, that's all you get I get in the mail.
You know,
Yeah, I appreciate that you're holding up your hands, but this is a salon, not a class, so you have to battle with each other to get your voice heard. I'm not calling on people anymore.
In the spirit of cage matches.
So is there anybody, am I the only one here from Massachusetts, or is anybody else?
I guess it's you.
In the
I
back.
guess it's me.
There's two in the back.
Huh?
It's you.
It's me.
There's two
So-
people in the back as well.
Well, okay, well, I wanna know if there's people in the back that are from Massachusetts.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, they're Vermont, aren't they?
No,
You're Vermont,
no.
sorry, my
And,
geography is off.
Then I would ask how many of those people, if they were here, would be supporting Ed Markey for Senate?
well, that's a hard one.
Yeah, because he's been a great senator, he still is a great senator, but if
He's
we
old.
elect him, he's got 6 more years to go, and he's gonna be 83 or something by the time we're done. So
Well, how about you, all you New Yorkers and Vermonters, would you vote for him? Who would vote for Ed Markey?
I love it.
Well, no,
I
love him
would,
too,
too
but
old.
6 more years, so I think I'm gonna support Seth Moulton
Depends
because.
who runs against
Oh,
him.
Seth
is
Moulton.
running against
Huh?
him? Seth
Yes.
is running against
Who
him?
is?
Seth Moulton.
Yeah, he's running against him, yeah.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
I didn't know
Is he
that.
good?
Yeah, well, he's trying to primary him, basically, is what he's doing.
Yeah.
So I think I'm probably gonna support him because, again,
That's
Ed
what
Markey
I-
should, actually,
that's what I
Ed
like
Markey
to
said he was
see.
gonna step down after this term. I think he should be stepping down now.
Seems a little scary sometimes.
Well,
If
if
you're
you're in a
ranked
term,
choice voting.
Right, you
What?
Right.
So, speak up, talk about this, talk about this, Joanna.
This is why we need ranked choice voting.
oh, good
Oh,
idea,
yeah,
I agree,
we're going
yes.
through that in Albany right now, that's a big deal in
Right.
Albany.
In Washington State too, there's some
Is it
cities
really?
that do it.
I haven't
It's a great
seen-
idea.
I haven't seen, definitive information that it's better. You know, it sounds like it's better,
There are
but I
several
haven't seen
cities
results that, I don't know.
there are several cities at least that have adopted ranked
Yeah.
choice voting. I can't name them,
Yeah.
but.
Didn't New York City?
Yeah, New York City, yeah.
Oh, New York City, yes.
Kind of a major city.
Yeah.
Yeah. They did it, worked pretty well there. I
Change-
don't know,
change is hard.
I just worry about any of these, yes, it would be nice if we had more parties or no parties. And yes, it would be great if we didn't have the electoral college. And yes, ranked voting would be great. But none of this stuff is gonna happen
That's
easily or maybe ever in this current
Not
atmosphere.
soon.
Yeah, not
And
soon,
the
for
other
sure.
part about relying on voting to get rid of people is with the, oh, gosh, I just lost the word, redistricting.
Oh,
There you
yes,
go.
there you go, you found
We
it.
have set the vote in a lot of important areas. So I don't have faith in that, we'll get rid of the bad eggs because they've arranged for bad eggs to keep living.
But when you have good ones, you don't want to.
Zombie eggs.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's, zombie eggs are running our government. All right, are we ready to move on? Because, oh, no,
Could we
one more.
circle back for a second?
Sure.
To the age limitations,
Yes.
because I'm 78 and a half, just curious, where are we at in terms of age limits for other things, such as driving? Or other things besides voting, or health related, when is it that we need to sort of create some type of policy or
It's
whatever?
different with each person.
Because other.
Yeah, it's different with each person when you're young, too. And again, as Jay said, we have no problem. You have to be 18 to do X, Y, and Z. You have to be 21. I would say, if you want a number for me, 75, and I am older than that.
So I'm just curious, do people feel that way about other things besides our elected officials?
Yes.
Well, like, running for Senate, speaking personally, since you did, that'd be a 6-year term, and I find things, it's hard to
84.
keep track
I
of
think there comes,
everything.
as Jay said,
Tiring.
there's a limit where you can't run for president when you're 34, even if you're really smart and older than one needs to be. But I do believe there does need to be an age at which we have to say, you can be at the top of your game and very attractive, but it doesn't work. It just doesn't work after a certain point. That's what I feel.
What your age would you set that at?
Well, in the New York Times, there's a recent piece, and by recent, I mean within the last 8 years. That said something to the effect of that after 75, people
75.
who are diagnosed with some type of chronic illness, good luck. Because after that time, treating someone with a serious long-term chronic illness is maybe not in anybody's best interest. I don't say I agree with that. That was the point of the piece.
And I'd even raise it. I think 75 is probably operational, so make it 80.
But so at
Make it 80.
if you had something.
After 80, no,
Would you
you're
get
not
a-
in public
Would
service.
you get a kidney transplant? Would you get a so, but it's the same thing. I think there are times, and it's a provocative thought, and even though I'm sort of on the other side of that limit right now, I do have peers who, if diagnosed with a certain illness, would probably opt not to receive treatment because it might not extend their lives in ways in which the quality of life would warrant that. But it goes to other things. Driving, I think about, especially since I'm going to be leaving early to take my hour-and-a-half drive home because I don't see well after 4 o'clock.
Right.
But I do that to try to be responsible, which I'm not
Right.
all the time. But what do we do about people who are still driving, my friends, who are 80, 85,
There are tests for
90?
that.
But they don't take them and they're not mandated.
Well, they
to
should be
take them.
required.
But they're
No,
not.
I pulled the keys from my mother. I know exactly
But at
where
what
she was.
age?
She thought she was just fine.
That's right.
Yeah,
So
you're
should we be
right.
okay with an 80-year-old surgeon? I wouldn't.
I would not either.
And so
My
why would
mother
we let
was
them
fine
run our
driving at
country?
93.
I agree.
We took her keys away at 93.
Jenny, I
But
agree.
before that, she was
Right.
fine.
So it's because of this. It's because we're living it that we don't want to limit ourselves. That we're saying no. I'm not going to set limits of when you can serve or when you can do this and that. But as a society, as a group, making laws that affects the whole society for the same reason you don't want super young people in. And you make a rule and you stick it. 34, there probably are certainly people who should be qualified to run, but they may not until they have to wait. And the same thing with 80. You hit 80, and that's it. You're done. You go find something else.
So what that means if you're 74 and or 75 and you run for Senate,
You may not. You may not
can't.
because you
Okay,
may.
that's
The
what
rule
I'm
would be
saying.
80, and you're done.
It's about the greater good. 80.
The greater good. Oh yeah, remember the greater good? We used to care about that.
Well, you could always be elected and just have to quit at 80 if they have an election at 80 instead. of-
No, no, that's too complicated. Make the rule the same.
Elections are very expensive
I-
on
yeah.
top of everything else.
A rule is a rule, and they are arbitrary, but they work sometimes. And I think well, they do. I think waiting to 30 or 35 to run for whatever office we're talking about, president or the Senate. I think that's a good law. And I think having an end limit would be equally good. Would it hurt some individuals?
Would it hurt?
Yes. Not
Could you
now.
get it?
Not now with all the old.
But
I almost said a bad word. With all those old people in the Senate, you really think it would pass? I'm s-
No, they can mentor other people. I mean, there's so
Exactly.
much that, if, let's say you're still vibrant and driving at midnight every day, there's a role for you, but you shouldn't be a senator.
You know, look, we do this in our own lives. I was, until just this year, a professor. And I had tenure, and there's no rules. After that, I could stay in there like a Supreme Court judge. But was that the right thing to do when I don't know the digital stuff, when it's so different now, when the kids are so different, when I don't even like the kids anymore? Would it have been right to stay? No, and so I left. But you can't rely on everybody doing the right thing. Chuck Grassley.
Even like when you have presidents who, I mean, I know how I feel after an international flight. Okay, I'm not flying on Air Force One, but I know how I feel. Am I ready to start negotiations as soon as I start? And I'm a lot younger than a lot of these
Lindsey
people.
Graham
Yeah,
was it.
that's right.
There's no way I could do
It's
that.
not only
Yeah.
cognitive, it's just energy level. I don't even
Absolutely.
know how you measure that.
Absolutely.
I know I'm gonna be 80 in February.
Oh, you look much younger.
Thank you. However, I work 2 days a month at my primary care doctor's office. I help out. She's a dinosaur practice. She isn't associated with a hospital, a big conglomerate. She's a solo practice doc with the front office manager in the front. 2 women in the office. So I've been doing this since I retired in 2013. I go in twice a month and I help out while the office manager gets back burner stuff done. I love doing it. Because number one, it makes my brain work very differently than when I'm just walking around the house all day. And number two, I have to work twice as hard now to remain efficient. I have found ways to compensate for where I lack, like I'll walk from my desk over to the fax machine and I'm like, oh my God, did I just fax this 5 minutes ago? And I gotta go in and I gotta check, right? But I have found a system that works for me that makes me still efficient. And as long as I can still do that in an efficient manner and I don't jeopardize a patient in any way, shape, or form, I feel safe to stay there. But is it as easy as it was 10 years ago? Absolutely not.
And it's 2 days a month, imagine
It's only
every
2
day.
days a month. It's only 2 days
And
a
going
month.
back to what Jenny said, would you want somebody, would you want a surgeon to say, did I take out that kidney or not? Time it with.
Would you want that person to have his finger on the?
Did I break that ceasefire or not? We have a president who has he found a system that's efficient for him? I'm not seeing it yet, Dave.
No, not at all, because he's deranged.
All right,
I'll probably mention this more than once that I saw Paula Poundstone last night.
yay.
Oh, she was fantastic. She was unbelievable. She did a wonderful bit on this in between her political stuff. She and she only did. She split it up really nicely. I mean, she was kind of the slices of life stuff and politics and just good humor and a whole rapport that she had with one person in the audience that she just kept coming back to, that was like almost a Don Rickles kind of thing, really abusive, but it was hysterical. But she said she's reached the point in her life where she finally resolved the issue of did I do it or not. She leaves lists in rooms now of reasons I might have come into this room. It was so good. Oh, yeah.
That's hilarious. All right, I want to switch topics again because we've got to move right along. So I'm picking from our list. Dead or alive? Todd Blanche.
Alive. Sadly.
Zombies?
Zombie, that was the word I was.
You mean his nomination?
Of
His
course.
nomination.
Yes, his nomination to be the not just the acting but the full-time and real Attorney General. What'd you say?
They'll push him.
He's gonna get through, yes.
Sadly, probably.
I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure.
I hope you're right, Jay.
Why?
Things starting to
Why?
turn.
Why are you
We
thinking that?
have seen another judge now tell the Justice Department lawyers, "I'm recommending you for sanctions."
Oh, right.
These
I forgot
people,
about
he
that.
is at the top of this chain. It all comes back to him, the things they are doing. And this was in the case of the person. I think it was in the case of the pool guy.
Yeah.
That they said that this is that you've deceived the court, you've abused the system of justice. I'm recommending you for discipline, and I'm going to quash the case if you don't drop it. This can't go on. I mean, I've written about this a few times. It really gets me mad. This guy tried to conspire with Donald Trump to steal $1.776 billion from the American taxpayers to give to the January 6th insurrectionists. That's basically what this was. And to anybody else who felt that they were, somehow wronged by the Justice Department that Todd Blanche now heads. This is a person who conspired with the president to give his family a get-out-of-jail-free card for any tax fraud that they have ever committed. And there's a 7-year limit as it is on how far back the government can go. What has Donald Trump done in the last 7 years that he is trying to hide? He never gave us his tax return. Now he gives us, we get more information on him. But
And it isn't just Trump.
One.
It's his family, his associates.
Associates.
Who knows who it is? What is an associate?
And when he went to Congress, he acknowledged during his confirmation hearing that he had not withdrawn any of this in writing. He has not gotten the Trump people. When you have a settlement, both sides have to sign off on revoking that settlement. He has not done that because they don't need to. And he does need to because Jared Kushner or Donald Jr. or Eric or Tiffany or anyone who's associated in business with Donald Trump's cryptocurrency and all the other things that Donald Trump has his hands in are all associates of Donald Trump.
So is Elon
They can
Musk.
walk into
I'm sorry,
court.
it's much
Yes.
bigger than that. Elon Musk is an associate.
Lutnick?
So these people can all walk.
Bob.
I'm sorry.
We're divergent. Go back to your.
I don't mean to hog this, but these people can all walk into court and say, I have a document that says, and it's a document that's still in force because Todd Blanche never signed off on it and Donald Trump never signed off on it and the Trump family never. I have a document that says, you can't prosecute me for this. You can't audit me for this. You can't prosecute me for this. And it isn't just tax stuff. It's everything the government could come after them for. That's the way the document was written. This is so corrupt. So corrupt, and the Democrats know it, and they've got to scream to the high heavens every step of the way to this thing. And so should Susan Collins, and so should Lisa Murkowski, and everybody that's involved in this. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Susan Collins is very concerned. I understand.
I'm sure she is.
We talked in the last salon about corruption, but this is just such an egregious example, and the corruption is right in the open.
Yeah.
Never
Nobody's
been
even trying to
anything.
hide it.
No one's even trying to pretend that there's a good thing out of
You
this.
know, all these years, and I consider myself pretty well informed, even as a kid. I loved Kennedy and listened to his speeches. I was shocked that you can commit a crime, and if the DA doesn't want to pursue it, you're off scot-free.
Yep.
I'm like, what?
Yep.
You have to have the DA or the Justice Department pursue it, otherwise I can shoot you and I have no repercussions.
May I point out that this is white privilege. Black people in our country have known this for a really long time.
Well, I'm getting the chill, but I'm like, I didn't know this all these years.
Yeah.
I
And now,
thought
and
if
he
you
is,
were guilty or you're caught in the act, that's it. No.
yes, Donald Trump has subverted the Justice Department. It is now his private law firm. In fact, I love the Freudian slip that Blanche made in his. I'm his lawyer. I was his lawyer.
It's not even recent. There were some of us who, in his first term, were saying there's going to be problems, and everybody was like, "No, there's guardrails," and we're like, "There's only guardrails if somebody pays attention to them, or cares about them, or respects them." This is not really news. It's not surprising.
Yeah.
I believe Blanche also said, I work for the president.
Yeah,
Yeah, he did.
And he
Yeah.
did say-
And then
He
he
was
was
told, no, you don't.
When you do, but don't say it.
Well, I've been following and I'm very interested in Tom Tillis and John Cornyn
Gordon.
from Texas, both of whom are lame ducks because Trump took action against them in the primaries and he beat them. They are there. Will they be vengeful? Which I, as a Sicilian, would have no problem saying, get you, Donald Trump. But they still, I don't know, they're playing. I don't know if they're going to go for it or not. Tillis said he would not vote for Todd Blanche until he met with the Epstein survivors. So he had a meeting and he said basically, all right, talk at me, I'm listening. And nothing. Does that count? Will they fold? And why? What is the hold that Trump has on them now? He has already done to them, again, I'm thinking of bad words, he's done to them the worst he can do. So will they now get revenge and do the right thing? Or will they support him?
You think they will?
You know, about.
We're talking, you have to talk one at a time though, because we have to record this.
Cognitive dissonance.
Cognitive dissonance, what
That's
does
the
that
problem.
mean?
They don't want to admit that they screwed it up, And, Donald Trump, nobody wants to admit they voted for him, a few people, but not very many.
But what about, maybe they're worried about their families still?
That's what I was saying. Are they worried
There's
about
money.
people being
Yeah,
killed or
they dox the families.
their lives?
More, there's threats, this is a mob.
I'm sorry, 30% of this country still supports him. That's baloney. 30% actively think what he does is still okay.
Identity
And
politics.
30% of them love what he's doing.
Yeah.
They do, because
Yeah.
they listen to Fox and they soak in what that has to say. They listen, they don't believe that he is a felon, they don't believe
No,
in
it's
the
all
Epstein
fake
files.
news. All
It's
fake
all
news.
lies, they don't believe all this stuff. So we live in different realities. We
No.
live in
7 of them.
completely different realities. Until we figure out how we're gonna come together
That's
in
part of the
a,
cognitive dissonance, that's what it is.
and how do we do this? Personally, I'd like to see the Sopranos come after.
Well, I'm sort of upset with the protesters, and I'm involved in a number of groups. Dee, I know you had a group. We took the summer off, like, we have to take care of ourselves, and we have to think about our families and the good things. Like Donald Trump didn't take the summer off. The Justice Department did not take the summer off.
The war didn't
We
take
we
the summer
we
off.
are outgunned by them.
But I'm gonna be very truthful. I've lost my steam on those.
I'm not sure they're really, I don't know how effective we are.
I mean, I
We
was
are
very
effective.
gung ho, I went to
We're
every one of
effective.
these things, and I really
We're
lost my
effective,
steam.
trust me.
Because I'm not sure it does anything.
Jay, I want
I
you
gotta
to
get-
talk about the cockroach protests in India.
Yeah, what
Oh,
is
yeah.
that all about,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
cockroach
that's true.
thing?
Yeah.
What is that?
It's effective.
Just to return to Paula Poundstone for 1 second, you all should have been there at the end of her show. And she dropped the comedy at the end of the show, and she, it was wonderful. She just exhorted the audience to get out there, to be she said it's not just protesting, but if that's all you can do, make a sign. She said, funny to hear from Paula Poundstone. She said, it takes me a lot to call my representative. I don't, it's intimidating to call somebody. But she said, she said, if nothing else, call them and ask them what they're going to do about election fraud, about the rigged election that Trump is trying to do. What are you doing to protect our democracy? Just to ask them that and put the pressure on them. But very much to the point, what's going on in India right now is so extraordinary. So if you're not familiar with the story, it's very simple. There's a national exam. It's very high stakes exam for people who want to get into medical school, and there's a lot of people who want to get into medical school in India.
In India?
In India.
Okay.
And it's a grueling exam. I don't know how many hours long it is or how many days long it is, but they ran the exam and then they announced, oops, it looks like the answers got leaked or the questions got leaked before the exam. Everyone's going to have to take it over again. And the students in India went ballistic. And it has mushroomed just organically into this movement. And the cockroach movement is, I think some public officials said, well, the only ones who really objected to it are a bunch of cockroaches. So some guy proudly created, just on his own, the Cockroach Party. It's got a nice little symbol and everything, and people are enrolling in it, just online, basically saying, I'm a member of the Cockroach Party. They're doing, merchandise, wearing T-shirts and posters
Nationwide.
and all this stuff.
Nationwide.
And this is brought down the education commissioner. Imagine if we could bring down
50
what's her
people
name?
have lost their jobs, including
the
Minister of
WWE lady who's running our education
the
system
education
right
department,
now.
the alleged education.
And Modi is in trouble, and he's bringing out the police, he's bringing out troops, they're tear gassing people, and this is a movement, and they are trying to figure out how are we going to hold this country together. How are we going to hold the power together against a youth movement? My God, it's like the '60s are just happening all at once in India, and I'm watching this and I'm thinking, why is this not happening here? Over a real theft of our whole democracy.
Right, same in Romania,
Right.
they did.
Over the Kushners. Over Kushner and Jared and Ivanka.
You can point to other examples. Serbia had one over corruption, and it's not nearly the corruption we're seeing. Trump made $2 billion in this last year in office. And that's not how the presidency is supposed to work. So where's the outrage? And let me point out, demonstrations do work. We've seen it locally. Velo Airlines does not fly out of out of the Albany airport anymore. And Citizens Bank saying, oh, no, it had nothing to do with those little protesters out there, but we're not going to like finance prisons anymore for us.
Have they backed off that?
Yes, they backed off.
I
They made
moved
an
all
announcement.
my
your money?
accounts over
That's-
to Broadview. And
that's why.
I just wanted to make sure every last I is dotted.
And you're right, Target is one, so we know that protests work. It's slow, you will be denied credit, but it does work. But we are not protesting as hard as we can. Why? I got something online the other day saying, we really need to know the answer to this. Why were you not involved in the last No Kings protest? What No Kings protest was there? I've been involved in all of them. They had one and I didn't know about it. They're not organized. They're not steady enough. And Dee, you're involved in this. You know how hard it is to organize this stuff. But we are not doing enough.
We did not have one in Albany last time.
No, we did
There
not.
was not one here.
There you go.
I think we
And that is
really
what
need.
I'm
No, but the coalition with Indivisible, National, and the No Kings decided not to because they realized that the No Kings protest, in all actuality, did not make people get active. They showed up on the days of the No Kings protests and they had like a wonderful block party, but they went home and did nothing.
What is it they want us to do?
Telling us this, our black brothers and sisters are saying the very same thing.
Yep.
If it's not sustained, it's not going to work.
Right.
We can't do a weekend here and, a weekend there. This has got to be an ongoing, long-term.
I'm sorry, this seems like a leadership to me. Tell me what you want me to do after I'm done protesting. Tell me how I sustain it, and I will do it. No one's telling
I
me.
think it should be above that, it should be national strike.
Yep.
Nationwide for
National
days,
strike.
For
like
days.
Europe does.
Yes.
We don't, even though Europe is smaller, but we just don't.
We don't get to the streets.
Either we
the way
lost,
Europe
either we
does.
lost the leaders who have been
People
killed or
just don't go out.
assassinated or they died. We don't have it's a massive, it needs nationwide strike to shut down the country.
It has to do with anger, it has to do with what is our
We're not
fire.
there yet.
We're paying taxes.
No, we're not there
Where
yet.
are our taxes
People-
going?
enough
Why
people-
are we
war.
paying taxes? When does it come to a
$1
place where we
billion
say,
a day.
I'm holding some of my money? We have the voice, but what are we doing?
I think we're suffering the consequences and ramifications of being a pull yourself up by your bootstraps country instead of focused on community, which most other countries are. We all think, instead of thinking community-wise, we think for ourselves. And that's part of the go get 'em kind of thing, and it's really, I'm realizing as I get older, a lie, but we pride ourselves on that individualism, but this is what we're suffering now from, is that individualism.
I think another aspect of it is our affluence. That
what?
is, and in all fairness, our illusion of affluence. That I think we all know, we are 1, 2, 3 paychecks at the most away from disaster.
Right.
And
right.
how can you sustain a national strike when most of your population is so worried about their everything they've accumulated, your mortgage, your car, all the things, your credit rating?
Well, your
I-
healthcare, it's
You're-
attached to our jobs.
Right.
So
Right.
I mean, I have enough friends who are very vocal about this. They're like, it's privilege to say, let's all take off and march in the streets for day after day after day. Because if your healthcare is tied to your employment, you're not gonna take that risk. And maybe you literally can't. I don't know the answer, but I do know, again, and what we were saying about the individualism goes back to, wait, what about the greater good, the community?
But
Something got twisted, because we did know this. The 60s we were, well, I wasn't, I was a little too young. But most people were out there and I wanted to be out there. I've heard this before, so it's not original with me, but I really think something about the 80s and Reagan and the whole narrative that got played out about welfare queens and whatnot, something got lost. And we do get tired, but the thing is, we get tired if we think we're doing it alone. If we're doing it in community, when one of us needs to step back, 5 other people can step forward. When one of them needs to step back, it's a start. But I believe it has to be sustained, and I do believe it has to be like national strike level. I don't know how to do that without people suffering.
And I think that's the problem. If I were to have asked, I would sort of kind of backdoored into this as protest dead or alive. It's alive and it works, but we lack courage because we don't want to be uncomfortable.
Right.
You know, we wanted our summer off, and I'm guilty of this too. I'm not blaming people. I went off, you know, into the Olympic Peninsula and got away from it all. That's not what happened in the civil rights movement or the suffragette movement. They put themselves out every day, and they risked jail and discomfort and loss of money and arrest, loss of freedom. They put all of that, and none of us have done that so far.
It's not sustained. I mean, why was there not I mean, I understand there was other things going on or whatever, with the pride thing, but there's no momentum going.
The energy isn't there. I think that's the problem.
Yeah,
the energy isn't
and
there.
I think the energy for the first year was there, and I think it's just like, I think people have gotten overwhelmed, and it's just like.
So Steve Bannon has won. Just flood the zone,
Yes,
keep it one thing after
exactly.
another, and they'll all back
I'm
up.
not
So
saying
he's
I want
won.
them to, but I'm not. Yeah.
I don't think the energy was ever there for people who are younger than us. We
That's
talked
true.
about
I
that.
agree.
And I heard a piece of an interview on BBC World Service, which I think we should pay attention to, but I don't know enough about it yet. And it's about the rehabilitation of Richard Nixon, talking about dead or alive.
Oh, yeah,
He needs to be on the list. Okay, and then there's a whole Gen Z movement supporting conservatism, but more Richard Nixon conservatism. I don't know a lot about this, I just heard it last night, some of it. But I think there is energy, but it's not going towards this. And I think we need to pay attention to what that is.
You know what? We've used up an hour already. We're halfway done, and we take a break now. You get to get more popcorn and more drinks, and we get to turn off the mic. Okay, guys, you ready for another Dead or Alive? Here's one. Dead or Alive, Odysseus. Oh, a technicality. He was never alive, says Sabine. Odysseus. We're talking about the Odyssey, the Christopher Nolan movie that has generated much complaint and unhappiness among maggots.
Well, among Elon Musk.
Yeah, Elon Musk says, never fear, he's going to do a version of the Odyssey.
When Elon Musk says, it's not historically factual.
This is a Greek woman speaking, so pay attention, everyone.
I mean, does he really believe these monsters existed and the gods of...
There aren't cyclops? There aren't sirens? What?
I mean, when I heard him say it's not historically accurate, I go, this shows their ignorance.
Who has seen the movie? Raise your hand. Oh, no. Oh, you have to all see it. This is your assignment.
I'm going to see it tomorrow night.
And it is worth seeing in IMAX.
I want to go to New York
Yeah, we're
City
going to
and see
IMAX.
it on
The IMAX, the big screen. Jay, you saw it on IMAX.
I did see it in IMAX. I have never been to an IMAX theater, and this was my first IMAX movie. My wife did not want to see it. She said she just didn't really have any interest in the movie, so I went to Crosscase. 3 seats left the day I went, and it was a lot of younger people in there. It was very cool to see. And the only seat they had, she had like 3 seats. One was way over here, one was way over here, and one was kind of almost to the center, top row. And she said, actually, people have sat there and they've come back and told me they enjoyed it. It was perfect. I was able to put my feet up on the rail, which was divided from the rest of the audience, and it was just enough. I felt every rumbling, every wave, everything, and it was spectacular. I have issues with it, but we can get into that.
We went to see it, and when we came out, young people were coming, and it was also very full, and people came flooding out of the theater, people who I teach in school, young people, and they were yelling, Odysseus! Book sales are soaring for the Odyssey and the Iliad. And I think it's an amazing movie. It's totally fun and action-packed, and the criticism has been interesting. The number one criticism is that Helen of Troy, the most beautiful woman in the world, the excuse, if not the real reason for the war, is played in this movie by, oh my God, a black woman, DEI. Ridiculous.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, a beautiful woman, yes. Other criticisms are that the gods do not appear. This is a movie about the humans moved by powerless in the face of the gods, and the gods are mostly removed from the movie, with the exception of there's sort of an Athena-like figure who turns out actually to be kind of a ghost haunting the guilty, PTSD-stricken Odysseus. And in the original, in Homer, which was, it was written at a time when violence was kind of cool. We liked violence. He didn't have PTSD. He did not suffer over his thoughts on what he did. But in the movie, Matt Damon is playing Odysseus, and he sees this woman who is tortured and killed in Troy as a result of his thought, which was the Trojan horse. And the Trojan horse goes in, and so the Greeks get inside Troy after a 10-year stalemate, and they ransack and rape and pillage, and this young girl is affected. So she turns into Athena, kind of like his conscience. So it is absolutely. And the other big complaint is the stars do not speak with a British accent, which is not Greek either. Explain that to me. But they have an American accent, and then the speech is anachronistic. Telemachus calls his parents, Odysseus and Penelope, mom and dad. Probably the ancient Greeks didn't use those terms. Probably did. But they probably didn't speak any English at all, which most of the movie is in English. Yeah. So these seem minor things to me when it's incredible action-packed series and scenery, and the psychology is really good too. The cruelty of Cyclops. He is an enemy, but how cruel are you to an enemy? That seems to resonate with me. I love the scene where the Greeks, and Menelaus calls this, you may have heard about the Trojan horse, but you never got the inside story. And then he talks about being inside that Trojan horse, waiting to be dragged, filled with Greek soldiers being pulled into the gates of Troy, where they then explode and take over. And it's filled with shit, with excrement, because what are you going to do? And it's claustrophobic, and it's dirty, and it's reeking, and you're in there waiting to go out and slaughter people. That was amazingly powerful statement about war. Yeah, the Trojans were pushing swords in to see if there was anything inside, and you're narrowly escaping death. It was, and Cersei in this version, in Christopher Nolan's version, is not a witch, but a aggrieved feminist, basically. She's not hot for Odysseus as she is in the original. She's out to avenge women who are treated badly by men, and so she turns them all into pigs. And in the original, it's kind of a magic wand. It's instant. In this, she molds and sculpts them into pigs. Oh, it's a remarkable filmmaking. Yeah. So go ahead. What do you think?
Well, I really enjoyed the movie.
You did.
I thoroughly enjoyed it.
I wanted us to disagree, but he did.
No,
like
I'm
it
going to
too.
disagree. Don't worry. I was willing to suspend whatever my expectations were of what the movie should be, and just say I'm going along for the ride. And I went along for the ride, and it was great fun. And then afterward, I kind of reflected on it. I listened to all the, read various commentaries and criticisms and stuff. I thought the Elon Musk stuff was just a bunch of nonsense. Historically accurate. I think what he's saying, to be fair, and this is my enduring flaw as a journalist, is I do want to be fair. What he meant. I do think what he meant was it wasn't faithful to the text, and she is referred to, excuse me, at one point as white-armed Athena. White-armed Helen. Or Helen of Fair Arms or something like that. Oh, all right, so who cares? What I think was more, I'm sorry,
Fair arms could mean something else.
could be.
I think historically it meant someone who.
I think she said, I think white was the word that was used, at least in the translation. I read the Lattimore translation years ago. I think more substantively, and I think Maureen Dowd in her column got at what I would have gotten at, is there were two elements of this that were missing. One is the gods, other than this kind of
fake Athena.
hallucinatory Athena. First of all, it wasn't Athena that was following Odysseus around for most of it. I forgot this. It was Hermes. And constantly advising him on how to navigate the situations he was in.
Right.
The other thing is that other than the Cyclops, every challenge that Odysseus faces is a woman or female in some ways. Scylla, Charybdis, the whirlpool. The whirlpool. The sirens.
Not Cyclops.
Nausicaa, other than Cyclops.
And the Iron Man.
Don't remember the Iron Man.
There's criticism because they look sort of like they're out of Star Wars rather than Homer.
Those I missed. Oh, I do know
Yeah.
who you're talking about, though. All right, most. Most of the adversaries, most of the challenges he faces are women or female characters. And I wrote a paper in college on this very issue. I think it was like the last thing I wrote. It was called "The Sex and the Odyssey," or "The Epic of Interruption," and it was all, and it was essentially about the relationships that were going on. And I was aware, even writing it then, that when you're a college student, you got to write a paper. You kind of take an idea and you run with it, and it's not necessarily what the author intended at all. But I do think that Homer was very aware of masculinity and how he defined it, how it was defined in that time.
He was the Hegseth of his time.
Yeah, kind of.
Take a testosterone test.
And when you look at even the phrasing that he's talking about, I forgot this phrase, but he was talking about Telemachus and the suitors and stuff, men such as men are now, which is not men such as Odysseus was. And Odysseus really was the last of them. When we see Menelaus, he's just a domestic, bitter man who's kind of pissed off about his wife.
Bickering
really
with his
pissed off
wife.
about his wife.
Domesticated.
Domesticated. Thank you. And just reduced. I think he also knew he was used by Agamemnon, for a larger purpose, and they even allude to that this was really about trade routes and so forth. But so and ultimately, I think that he saw the relationship between Penelope and Odysseus as the ideal of a relationship between a man and a woman, and that Odysseus had to navigate all these false leads, and they never mentioned Nausicaa, who was in that, and she really wanted to marry at least a man like Odysseus. This is a depth that I don't know that Nolan could have incorporated all that, as well as I thought the masterful thing in this was the PTSD, the idea of carrying this guilt. I do think that Homer was aware of it. Yeah. Because when you see when the Iliad opens in literature, when the Odyssey opens in literature, the world is gone. The old world is gone, and Odysseus really is the only survivor. The war is over. The heroes are gone. Everyone's dead except for a few people like Menelaus.
And what have you accomplished?
And what have you done?
That's true.
What have you done? And how are you going to recapture the glory once the glory is over?
I love that a piece of literature, almost 2,700 years old, and look at it has captured our young people. Those theaters are packed. Yeah. Okay, I'm sorry. That's a big deal. That's a really big. Having taught in class, I can't get kids interested in anything, and he did it. So that says a whole lot right there.
Yeah.
And then I would say that's a small price to pay from inaccuracies. that I think it's a small price to pay to get them interested and to identify with it.
Okay, well, one thing that Maureen Dowds wrote in her column, which I'm assigning you as homework, you must look it up, is it's sexless. The Homer is pretty sexy. There's like great sex scenes all through his original poetry, which of course I've not read. You may have. I've only done it in translation, but it's gone in the movie, and it's cleaned up because he wants to make it's a movie. You know, you only have, in this case, 3 hours. So he wanted to clean it up. He wanted to make Penelope and Odysseus a love story for the ages, which it was not. He was a pig. He was like sleeping with everybody. And Calypso, who is Charlize Theron, who anybody would sleep with, even women, it's almost platonic in it. Like she really loves him and she's giving him Lotus. You know, he
During
didn't
the course
eat
of that
Lotus.
7 years, you know what must have happened.
Yeah, for 7 years he stayed there. Yeah, definitely.
Even though the notion of guilt 3,000 years ago for a warrior
Right.
to have guilt 3,000 years ago, to me is pretty amazing.
It is extraordinary, and what I thought it was more emasculation. He didn't go that far. Nolan didn't go that far with it, but I really thought that being with Calypso for 7 years, and he explains it as being in a Lotus days, but you know, in the warrior ethos sense of the word, I think he was thoroughly emasculated and had to reclaim that before he could come back to.
So I totally saw Hegseth in that whole part.
Yeah.
I was like saying, oh man, he would love this. Yeah, test your testosterone levels. Drop in there, Odysseus. We need war fighters.
We don't hear of anyone feeling guilty about killing other people.
No.
In our culture.
And yet,
in modern, I mean, we have heroes as they are killing other people, but we don't have heroes coming back saying, I'm sorry I killed those people.
Well, I think that's what PTSD
But after
is.
Vietnam, there were a lot of people.
No. We've been punished. We liberals have been punished for saying you were baby killers. They were baby killers, may I say.
but all the PTSD, all the homeless
Yeah,
street
those
people
stuff,
that are struggling on the street, they're dealing with that.
That's a good point. It could be masking
And that's
guilt.
true
Right.
since the.
But we're not saying guilt.
As a society, we won't. No, we had a glorious war.
You're right.
Yeah.
I never
So
thought
a
of
slight
it.
divergence that you're bringing up here is, and Jay, I want you to talk about this because I know you posted on Facebook. It was really powerful. We had 4 more servicemen killed in this silly war in Iran, and they're not counted as war dead.
Terrible.
Women and people of color.
And we have even more than that they're not.
Yeah. Well, the wounded we're not focusing on the wounded at all, and there's a lot of very seriously wounded people, and they are not being counted at all.
Talk more about that.
We can't even get straight on the numbers. You know, it's the number that I saw, and I was a little alarmed because I saw a number from the Defense Department that was quoted by, you know, either the Washington Post or the New York Times of 200 and change. It was 500 so far. And you know, you talk about a minor concussion. I mentioned this to my colleagues the other day when we were talking about an editorial on this. And I said, you know, I've had a minor concussion. I was in a martial arts promotional exam, and I let my guard down for a second, and I got hit in the head, and I got half knocked out. I wasn't unconscious at any time, but I went down. I got back up, but I was like, oh my God, what's wrong with me? And I went home. I laid on the bed for a while, on the couch for a while, and I finally called the doctor, and she took a look at me and she said, "You got a concussion." And it was minor as things went. I could function for the next few weeks, but it was 6 months of not bending over and lifting things and stuff like that. So the idea that they want to just brush this off.
And some of these people, like from what I've heard, are being rushed back into battle or into active duty. So even though they have not recovered, I mean, they're giving it's minor, you're back on active duty, and that's like
And, it might have been during Trump 1.0 that there was an incident where some servicemen were hurt and their barracks had gotten bombed and some of them had traumatic head injuries. And I can remember when Trump referred to it as they had a few headaches.
Yeah.
Yep.
He just minimized it down to nothing.
Well, I mean, we could go back to COVID, if you want to talk about minimizing impact. And that's what it's all about, is making him look good.
Yeah.
And the fewer casualties, the fewer deaths, or our war deaths are, the least impactful his silly war has
It's
been.
getting very close to diarrhea there, you know.
Yeah.
Real close to diarrhea with that comment.
Yeah.
But this is really the lie, though, of the support the troops stuff that he spews, and the
He does that.
you know,
Suckers and losers.
suckers and losers.
Suckers
This
and
is
losers.
all how it reflects back on him, and taking these deaths off the official list is one of the most heinous things I've ever seen a president do. And you know, somebody even it was even a simple it was a more like-minded person said to me, you know, well, he didn't do it. You really need to be going after the Pentagon. And it's like,
Oh, come on.
no, this is the Pentagon carrying his water.
Because he
It's
wants
like
the
the
numbers
last four
down.
people that died. They just removed him off of the rolls.
Yeah.
Because we were
Because
during
it
a
was-
ceasefire.
Right. It was during the ceasefire, so they don't count. So they're not on
Yep.
the rolls of the casualties anymore.
Remember when he did not, again, COVID, he didn't want the cruise ship with the infected people to come back into port, because then his numbers would look bad.
Well, he didn't want tests done because
Yeah, 'cause then you would find stuff out.
if we don't test, we won't have there won't be cases. No problem.
Well, he even had that big chart where he showed how many people were killed in each war, and he said, "And look at me,
Yeah.
just 14. That's it."
Right.
Oh my
I've
God.
done best.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
not a war.
Carolyn is former military, so you feel this personally, don't you?
I do feel this personally. I feel I mean I am not. I was active duty. I retired from the military, but I was never in combat or anything. I was never. I was
As
a
is
desk
appropriate
jockey.
for women.
I was a
What's your
desk jockey.
testosterone level?
I did with my desk. But no, I find it's shameful. It's disgraceful. It's horrible.
There's gonna be a long list of all his shameful shit. I mean, honestly, I sometimes find it frustrating to continue to, like, bullet point all of his disgusting, shameful, disgraceful behavior. He's horrific.
Even minimizing
He's as
the
bad as it
casualties.
gets. This is the most shocking experience any of us have ever gone through to see in our government. I was born in '64. I like the hippie stuff. I still dance to the Grateful Dead. I want that back, but it's not coming back.
It's not coming back.
How are we gonna live through this? We gotta keep on rocking. We have to keep pushing
Yeah.
through
We
this.
need marketing. We need marketing because they're using communism as the new word.
Right.
We need
Yeah.
a new word for us that's not communism.
We need a lot more than just marketing, don't we?
Well, no, we don't like that one either. That one's also.
We shouldn't bend to them. It's
Right.
just, like,
Of
who
course.
cares what they think and
Right, but
make
we-
it right.
But we do need to market ourselves better. Democrats are horrible at marketing. They're
Not just
horrible.
marketing, though,
I
they bring a
came
pea
up
shooter to a
with a theme.
gunfight. They don't bring the fight.
No.
We're very peaceful. Are we all still dancing to the Grateful Dead?
No.
Where's the fight? Where's the fight?
All right,
You
let
know,
me.
we do see.
Go ahead.
I don't disagree with you at all. It has not. These fights don't go viral, but boy, there are some good fights going on in Congress right now. I posted one of Alanna Presley.
Oh, that was great. That was great.
Taking down Russell Vought, no less, the author of 2025, or at least the mastermind
One of
of
the
it.
major masterminds.
She tore him a new one, and unlike Pam Bondi and some of the he couldn't get a word in on her. It was inspiring to listen to her, and she was dead on. She hit him. She hit him perfectly every time.
Was that recently?
Yes, it was
Yeah.
very recently, in the past week, and she keeps saying, "Be quiet, I'm talking."
She said, what?
Who do you
Still
work
goes back
for?
to the office.
Oh,
And he's
right,
like,
right. He's right.
What are we gonna
All right, I'm taking control again because I don't want to run out of time.
When did
We're
you lose
switching
control of this?
topics. Another dead or alive, okay? The Middle East. Is it dead or dying, or is it still
It's
alive?
alive.
A nuclear weapon deal with Saudi Arabia. What could possibly go wrong?
Oh my God.
Or do we have it? Because the next day, after you announced, he changed the rules.
Well, he changed his mind.
Oh, did he?
Wait, what?
Yeah,
He
he
said
made
he's-
it. He made a deal that basically Saudi Arabia could work on nuclear reactors, and it's for electricity. Even
Nuclear
though,
enrichment.
yes, even though this stuff can easily be enriched a bit further and become
Well, wasn't
nuclear
this the
grade.
whole Iranian issue too, though?
Yeah, Iran can never have a nuclear weapon, but we like Saudi Arabia. He likes them. They gave him a sword or something in his first term. So then the next day after this is announced, he goes, "Oh, and by the way, one other condition: you have to sign the Abraham Accords," which I so resent the round table, because when this first happened in his first term, they were all saying, "Well, you have to give him credit. You know, he really got a deal here. He made the relationships with Israel and some Arab countries really, it works." No, he went to countries that were trading with Israel. They did not offer anything new. They just made it formal. And now he's using it as, I don't know what he's using it as, proof that he's a great man.
Can I ask
It deserves a Nobel Peace Prize.
What is the Abraham,
The Abraham Accords was an agreement in which several countries in the Middle East, it was the UAE and Bahrain, would formalized good relations with Israel. They ceded, Israel's right to exist. Yeah, we're going to get along with them. It normalized relations.
and when was this made?
During his first term, it was bartered by Jared, his son-in-law, and the idea was that this would lead to wider impact in the Arab world, and he was given a lot of credit for this. And I said at the
I
time,
think
this
this
is
coincided with
baloney.
his Board of Peace as well, which he is
Oh,
forever
the Board of
the head
Peace,
of.
yeah. Is that still around?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's not doing anything, but it's there.
Yeah, right, they're all like.
The Board of Peace, yeah. That's gonna, they're gonna turn Gaza into a resort city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I thought there was another point too, that right before the Hamas massacre, that Saudi Arabia was gonna also be part of that peace deal.
Right.
Part
Saudi
of the
Arabia has
Abraham-
never agreed to it. And that's why it's threatening the deal over nuclear. Well, they don't want to say anything nice about Israel, particularly now when there's fighting in Lebanon, when the Iran war is involved. Israel is the enemy. Jordan, yeah, there were deaths in Jordan. The U.S. deaths were in Jordan.
I think the Saudi elite would do it. I don't think they believe that they could maintain control of the country if they do this.
Right.
The so-called Arab Street just won't tolerate this, and there's only so much power they have. They have a lot of power, but
Right.
I think they realize that they'll have a revolution on their hands if they do it.
So Saudi Arabia is just one piece of this. The other is, are we at war or not with Iran? What is,
We are.
we are at
Now
war?
we are again.
Are you sure?
We are.
Now we're supposed to.
As long as you don't use that word, it's fine.
We're at not war with Iran.
As long as we don't need
That's a good way of
congressional
putting it.
approval, we're good.
Oh my God.
We're actually headed for a two-front war if this keeps going. That the Houthis,
war?
A two-front war.
Two-front war.
That the Houthis are trying to block the Red Sea, and I think Trump is hoping the Saudis will take care of that. It's a big country. I mean, Saudi Arabia is huge, and Yemen is really small. But the Houthis are just a enduring insurgency. It is amazing, and they are. The ships are getting through, but that's for now. I think if Iran gives them any help, if Russia gives them any help, Russia's making plenty of money off this war. So why they wouldn't, smuggle drones or missiles or
Whatever
surface,
they need.
anything. I think they're perfectly happy to watch Trump squirm. So yeah, I think the war is still. It's just in a phase. It's not. It isn't over. I mean, he may like magically declares he wanted to magically declare COVID over. That once he signed the peace agreement, that was it. But
Well, Johnson says it's gonna be over quickly.
Yeah, okay. I
by
believe
Christmas,
that. Yeah.
wow.
Quickly.
Oh, quickly.
And gas is going to be at $2 a gallon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if not, don't worry, you'll get used to it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not so bad to pay $5.
Oh,
What? Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
What frustrates me about this, and what Rosemary and I were talking about briefly when we were plotting this out, was so there was a stabbing of 2 Jewish men and an Asian person in New York City the other day, and immediately, the leader, the United Jewish Federation and people on the right, and a number of Jewish leaders faulted Mamdani for the address that he gave a few days earlier, saying why they couldn't arrest, they couldn't execute the arrest warrant on Netanyahu if he comes to the United States. And everyone was saying, you got to turn, you can't use language like that. You've got to turn down the temperature. Everybody keeps saying, and so forth. And I am not in total disagreement with that idea. If let's say an Orthodox Jewish mayor in New York was railing about the visit of a Muslim leader to the United States, I think we would see it a little bit differently. Tone it down, keep the temperature down. At the same time, it just happened that I tuned in. I don't know who the fellow was. He was from London University, and he was an Arab scholar there. And he was talking about Gaza, and he was talking about and he got around to the founding of Israel. And he said there, and I thought, this is a very good analysis, that he said you can look at this one of two ways. You can look at the founding of Israel as a moment of, as an act of restorative justice for the Holocaust and the hundreds of years of anti-Semitism in Europe, and giving the Jewish people a home. You can also look at it as an act of utter injustice, the displacement of all the Palestinians who occurred, who were displaced by this, and the crowding of people into the most crowded place on earth, which is Gaza, as well as the continuing settlement, the forced settlement, and the forced displacement that's going on. I would argue ethnic cleansing that's going on in the West Bank. And he ultimately shifted his argument ever so slightly and went with the idea that this was an historic injustice and that we have to ignore the restorative justice. And that is, to me, the fundamental problem. I've been following this closely, all my life, but really closely since I've been an opinion editor. And I've watched the war play out every time something about Israel is said. It plays out on the letters to the editor page, and it's the same argument every single time. And the problem is we want to see the world in black and white. We want to, we were talking about age before, age limits and term limits and so forth. It's a black and white issue. When you want to draw, we've got to find a way. We can't work with the nuances. We can't work with the fact that some people 85 are really sharp and some people aren't. So let's just find a way to simplify it. And I really think that that's what he was doing, what he was guilty of in that talk, and that this is what makes this problem so intractable, is that how do we work out the shades of gray? I think the only way to work it out is the same thing that, not to say we're right all the time, but our editorial board has argued since I've been on it, it's a two-state solution. The only way you're going to do it is to create a homeland for the people who are displaced, and a homeland in reasonable proximity to the homeland that they had, and give them autonomy, and not control their water, and not control their electricity, and not have them living under virtual martial law, and not have them living under the whim of Benjamin Netanyahu and the most conservative elements of the Israeli Knesset. And then I just throw up my hands because it's like I can't. Nobody's listening to me.
No one's doing it.
Where would it be?
I would argue that
there are some.
I would argue that you could achieve it with a two-state solution and perhaps a link between the two, of Gaza and the West Bank. And I think that Egypt should give up some of the Sinai to do this.
I was going to. There are some new arguments about a one-state solution as opposed to a two-state solution. And there is an author. I'm just going to tell you what her name is because she's really interesting. Gada Karmi. She writes a book called One State, The Only Democratic Future for Palestine, really good book. And she doesn't go back to talk about what happened when, everybody set up when Israel was created as Israel, and about how everybody kind of capitulated to that and what happened then. But she does argue quite convincingly that a one-state solution is really the only way forward. So just to throw that out there, and how a two-state solution would never work.
How do you do that without creating something of an apartheid state, which arguably it is?
Having lived in the Middle East, most people there, in Jordan, most people there, they're all Palestinians, refugees or the descendants of refugees. They have moved from the two-state solution will never work, and it should have been, as it always should have been before, because Britain got involved in it all. Yeah, that was the real problem, is Britain got involved in it. Was one state under Arabs, under Palestinians, with rights for Israeli and Jewish settlers.
That would never happen.
I know that. I hear you, man. I hear you. But, it irritates me the most that Netanyahu never wanted a two-state solution.
No,
I think he effectively blamed the Palestinians for the failures, but he sabotaged it all the way along. He never wanted it. He's not fighting for that now. And he has gotten, because Trump is such a chump to have gone along with it, he's now destabilized the whole area. And it's way beyond Palestine. Horrible as Gaza is, terrible as that situation is, I think the whole region is in trouble right now. If you're giving nuclear weapons, or whatever the deal is going to be, as it turns out with Saudi Arabia, Iran is totally not listening and is enemies with the United States. I can't imagine a worse situation. It's never going to be solved.
No, and they're with the yellow zone now. They're packing more and more the same number of Palestinians, but they're packing them into a tighter and tighter area. And having watched enough sci-fi dystopian movies and read enough dystopian novels, and actually seen poverty and wealth in Latin America and in Africa firsthand, this is what the Palestinians are headed for.
Right.
It's going to be this gorgeous resort. I mean, this is Trump and Jared's and
they'll be the janitors and the maids.
Yep, and they'll be living inland.
Yeah.
Inland in a wasteland.
Yeah. If you live in Jordan, as I say, it's a country of refugees and survivors and relatives of refugees. There are maps in every place you go. Every office, every home has a map that shows the settlements, the Jewish settlements, and the Palestinian land has shrunk and shrunk and shrunk, and it's been taken. And we don't know about it in this country. I never criticized the media until I began looking at coverage of the situation in Israel. We are so pro-Israel, and that's still a major political issue here in the United States. You can get into trouble if you say anything bad about Israel. Then you're anti-Semitic.
Yep. Well, that's the thing. It's anti-Semitism has been weaponized politically by the right, in particular. And I've watched
Israel
this
has done
for
terrible
years.
things to
They're the ones that
Yes.
Jews will not replace us.
Right.
That's the crazy thing about this. The disconnect here is so weird. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm sorry to move us on, but I mean, there's even more. We're not going to get to all of them, but I want to do at least two more.
I do want to.
Oh, right, you're going to ruin this.
No, I'm not. It's just it'll end that topic on a, believe it or not, light note.
Oh my goodness.
Last night, Paula Poundstone was talking about something. I cannot remember exactly what the topic was, but she said, it's like the Holocaust. And she stopped and she goes, no, the Holocaust is never a good metaphor for anything.
That's true.
And the audience lost.
They laughed. They got that. Okay, so the last one, dead or alive, midterm elections.
Oh, God. Please be alive. Please be alive. It's going to be
On life support?
I hope.
Under attack.
Might be dramatic.
Who's this new guy in Maine? Is he?
Alive but maimed.
What it-
exactly.
I don't know enough about him to talk intelligently.
I
I feel like
Well, he's a
Flatbed-
real salt of the earth. Apparently, we really need this in Maine. Democrats have decided the lobster man didn't work out because of kind of the sex problem. So now we have little sex issue. So now we have another working class guy, Troy.
Never mind, that was the version.
So what are his odds?
Alive or dead?
Alive or dead, the midterms. I am very worried. July 16th, the president gave a talk to the nation.
Full of lies and duplicity.
It was a very weird speech. I know my Facebook posting the next day was, "Are you listening to this? He's nuts."
Yeah.
And I still feel like that. It's filled with conspiracy theories and ideas about a stolen election 4 years ago. 4 years ago? 2020, he's still bitching about.
2020.
Yeah,
6 years ago.
2020,
6
yeah.
years.
6 years
2024
ago.
stolen election.
Right, yeah. He liked that one because he won. Yeah, 2020. But filled with debunked theories. He said there's declassifying information that's going to like reveal the truth. And then everybody, including Fox journalists, are looking at this newly declassified information. There's nothing new in it. And it seems to me that all of that would be crazy and kind of laughable, except what a good foundation he is laying down for interfering with results he does not agree with
Which is
in
just about
November.
everything. Just about it.
So I'm very worried about that. And the Save Act, I hate saying that even that name is wrong. The Voter Suppression Act that he has been pushing, that he has held up bipartisan action on housing and other important measures to get through, has now passed the House. It's not dead. I do not believe it's dead yet.
Do you think it'll pass the Senate?
They say no, but I mean, they're all absolutely perfidious and who knows what they're going to do. So I am very worried about whether we'll actually have elections that matter, that count. I think that Todd Blanche's confirmation hearing showed that putting ICE agents or other armed Trump supporters into election booths, it will happen. So I think November is going to be, I don't know. Then the Hill this weekend is reporting that enthusiasm for this election among Republicans is depressed. Democrats are much more eager to get to the polls to vote than Republicans, but I'm not sure that's a win. What do you think?
You know, we were talking before about the idea that, you know, what do you do? You know, other than if you're going to do a No Kings protest, what do you do the rest of the time in the downtime? You know, what is showing up about? And my, you know, when I take a step back from it and I look at what's possible, what we're actually going to do, you got the election is really the ultimate moment for everybody. You know, whether you generate energy in the meantime for, you know, isolated specific actions, that's wonderful. But I think everything has to go into an A, get out the vote effort, and B, a defend the vote effort that pushes back at every single polling place in this country where Trump thinks that, you know, I mean, there's rumors that he's going to send ICE agents, he's going to send National Guard, he's going to send this, he's going to send that.
He's going to grab ballots.
I think we're going to see vigilantes, you know, thinking they can show up in open carry states and intimidate people at the polls. You know.
Okay, here. What can we do? I think that's important. I mean, you have to vote.
Yep.
You have to
Exactly.
be brave
That
and
goes
you have to
without
vote.
saying. Okay,
Well,
that goes without
it's more than that because you may face vigilantes, who to me are even more scary than those thugs that are ICE agents.
Well, we're in
at
New York,
polls.
so we're probably going to have less of that, probably. But how do we help out other states then who are in that situation, right? Because other states are going to be probably in worse shape than us.
I would argue that we go to other states. I mean, I still work a little. I'm part-time. And I have made a commitment to my paper to work through at least this election. So I can't get involved in stuff like that, but my wife did in the 2016 election. My son did in the 2016 election. They went down to Georgia and they did get out the vote work. And my son's a lawyer, so he was able to do voter defense kind of things where people's votes were being challenged. people's right to vote was being challenged at the polls. And he was like, kind of a triage.
Can we get some buses of people down?
And I think that's, I look around this room and I look around the people that showed up. Last night at Paula Poundstone, there's a lot of retired folks out there. We have the ability to do this.
I want to give money to the ACLU. I think
We
this
have
is
a great
ultimately going to
revolution.
end up in courts. I don't think it's going to be on the day of the election.
I-
Don't use mail-in ballots because he's after them. Go to the polls,
Yep.
Right.
contribute to the
Vote
ACLU.
early,
Especially,
that's just
vote
vote.
early, especially on day one.
Yeah,
That's
get there-
really
get there and
important,
vote.
Day one early voting.
What can he, you mentioned some things about what he might do. What will he do you think, or could he do?
I think armed federal agents at polls, at least in some places, is definite.
And he'd be having those agents check ID and do all kinds of
Intimidation.
intimidation.
Yes.
Intimidation.
Yeah. Now, I'm writing
People of color are
postcards.
gonna be threatened.
Yeah, I think
That's
Dee, you
my-
should. I was going to ask Dee to speak about it. I think the postcards work, although I hate the mealy mouth messages we write in those. Oh, I like to vote because it affects my family. Please vote and tell your friends to too. No, I want to say vote. Our democracy depends on it or something. But we don't write those. I'll go along with it. The postcards, I think, help. I'm telling you, it's going to be
These are postcards
lawyers.
to whom?
It's going to be lawyers. Help the ACLU.
It is gonna be lawyers.
Absolutely, the
Yeah.
contrarians, ACLU.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And as far as like a going place, that requires organization on the national level, which we've already discussed here, does not exist. So I don't know how to help with that. I know that,
I can make a suggestion.
yes, you may make a
So
suggestion.
there's an organization called Seed the Vote, and it's based in Oakland, California. But they, I don't know where they get their money from. I'm assuming it's probably from, I don't know, liberals in Tech Valley. But they actually sponsor, they send volunteers into different states that are having, significant elections. And they'll even, if you commit to like 5 days or more, they'll even pay for your transport
Wow.
and your hotel room. I did it in Pennsylvania last year, and I know this year they're working in Texas, Pennsylvania, Arizona. Trying to think of what other states.
Ruth, say the name of the organization
Seed
again.
the Vote.
Seed the Vote.
Yeah.
And
SEED.
Feed or seed?
The Vote. Yeah. So
Not give up, but feed it.
like grow some seeds, plant some seeds.
So are
Yes.
people door knocking? What are
Yeah,
they
we
doing?
door knocking, yeah. Which, to be honest, I have some questions about how effective that is these days, after having done it twice, because nobody's home anymore, nobody answers the door.
Even if they are.
But, I don't know what the alternative is.
Well, phoning's definitely not the alternative.
Yeah. But it is hard to get through to people, because either they don't answer the door, or I think in some of these vicinities, they're so inundated. Like right before the election in Pennsylvania, I think so many people were, organizations were door knocking and leaving literature.
Well, I
Some
think
people stopped answering their doors.
answering
but-
doors is still better than answering phones, because I never answer my phone anymore.
And it's not like the old days where we had landlines. So
Well,
you
I
don't-
still have a landline.
Oh, you do?
They call that one, and I never answer that one, never. Because I have caller ID, and there's no way, I never answer that. And that's why I don't even bother doing the phone banking anymore, for the same reason.
I have a feature on my phone that my granddaughter set up for me that if you're not in my contacts and you call me, my phone won't ring. It shows up on my recent calls. And if it's somebody that really needs me, they'll leave me a message. But my phone doesn't ring, so I don't get all those annoying calls.
Oh, nice.
We need to hear about that.
What?
I need to hear.
I don't know how to do it. My granddaughter did it.
So as far as what are we gonna do, I remember a previous salon where you both were talking about Project 2029.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that builds the fire. If we can get excited about the things we're gonna change,
Yeah.
that might build the fire. I honestly I often get into this paralysis, like nothing's gonna work. But this, I think you guys should continue that work.
Yeah.
Project 2029.
I know, I think about that a lot, like
Just
reform.
remember, the unfortunate thing is that 2025 was probably started 50 years ago, okay? That's the
Yes.
problem.
Okay.
2029 is
Ignore
starting.
the poo-poo.
I do not believe that. I don't believe that, Carolyn. I think that Russell Voigt and his colleagues got together and did it in the last few years, because when they realized that they could get Trump a second term and they could really move this time if they started right off. I think it was like 4 years.
2029.
But it doesn't even matter if they had 50 years. What is our alternative to do nothing? So
I mean, we
let's
already
start-
know so much now. Trump has taught us so much about what is wrong and where the weaknesses are.
The thing about Project 2029 is that somehow you have to communicate that this isn't just going to be a lurch to the left. That if the American people just feel like, if the people who are supposed independents, that persuadable middle, and even the even people who are somewhat to the left, if they feel like this is just going to be a giant as radical as
No,
2025 is,
and we have so many
you don't wanna do
opportunities for that now.
I think there's a lot of reasonable stuff that can be
Pardons.
presented. Yes.
Cryptocurrency, a president who made $2 billion last year while touting, "Oh, I'm giving up my salary."
Yep.
Come on.
And forget about his family. His family
Yeah.
is addition to those $2
Yeah.
billion.
The point is, with regard to those kinds of things, we know he's doing unconstitutional things. The fact that the Department of Justice is not pursuing it, I mean,
Absolutely.
he is breaking the Constitution. There's no
Every case he
question
loses
about it.
is technically a criminal act, or at least it's
Exactly.
a
And so-
a violation.
This, it's an unfortunate choice of word, this sanctuary cities. That was the wrong term to get to your point of, we have poor messaging.
Yes.
It's the Fourth Amendment. It says local police do not have to do whatever the federal government
Yes,
says.
Letitia James, who is making that point in New York
That's
State.
the Fourth Amendment.
Right.
We should have been called constitutional cities.
Yep, you're right.
Well, that would have seized the high ground. That would have been great.
Because it violates the Fourth Amendment.
Right.
And instead, asylum, yes, conjures up this picture of, having
Criminals.
illegal
Yeah,
people.
criminals.
And we're criminals, and we're shielding criminals.
So we need to
somehow.
change the messaging. There you go.
And it's been lost that local police are not obligated to work with federal agents per the Constitution.
Right.
That's been lost.
Again, Letitia James is making that not be law. She has brought that up again and is fighting for it, for New York, yeah.
And I'm just gonna add one thing with
Excuse me, I need only one at a time, and this is gonna mess up our recording.
a personal thing with Washington. I mean, most of the country would not believe this, but there are no polling places.
Right.
We get mailed our ballots and we send them in. And I think of my mother in Chicago who took public transportation to work, public transportation to get home. The polling places were not open. She would have had to take a day off in order to vote.
Okay, see, I think that mail ballots are definitely targeted by Trump, and you are nuts, unless, there's really no alternative.
There isn't in Washington State.
Yes, there is. You take a day off from work. You
No,
make a sacrifice.
No, you
You
cannot
can't.
go to a
Can't.
polling place.
Yeah, in Washington,
It
Washington.
It should be a day off anyway.
Yeah, it should, yeah, it should.
agree.
He's hurting his own people more than that because his people are more rural than the others. So he's hurting his own people more.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to cut this short because we have very little time left and do one more Dead or Alive, and then we're going to end on this note. Dead or Alive, ballsy journalism. Ballsy, courageous journalism. Did the correspondence dinner, White House Correspondence' Dinner?
That was good, actually.
It was awful. He claimed that he was gonna run again in 28.
I
And
know, I
somebody
saw-
said to him, can Obama run? He went, no.
But
He
the
doesn't get
journalists,
to
Who's the
decide.
journalist?
He
He wore the
decides.
hat.
who are all the people though who listened?
Who went to that stupid thing?
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
never
A
a
lot of
good
people
idea.
went.
They did, I
A lot of
know.
people
But they
went,
ended up, didn't they end up listing all the awards they got for stuff that they did?
Yeah, and that was supposed to be their, oh, we're showing
But they
off
sat
Trump. They
silently
gave
through his
him,
speech.
they gave him a platform. I'm sorry to talk over you. Go
That's why I'm
ahead.
just saying they sat silently during his speech. That's what you were saying. They let him talk.
Yeah, they said, oh, well, we're being brave because if any other organization were being threatened by Trump, we would go ahead and do it anyway. I agree, but they didn't hire a comedian. They made it different. They made it a platform for him, the man who is an avowed enemy of the press, who just the day before, until his Department of Justice stopped it, had subpoenaed reporters, which does not happen, should not happen when you have a First Amendment. And they were reporting on the lack of security in that Qatar gift that the plane that he couldn't use because it wasn't safe because of his stupid actions.
True, but didn't he also dig himself another hole? I mean, he said a lot of stupid things. He said terrible jokes that landed flat. When Pulitzer invited up those women to have to take their award, it was a moment. It was a moment. He makes himself look like a jackass more than anybody else. He throws himself into the fire. So maybe, as crazy as it all is, he did do
I don't
that.
know. I feel like I hear what you're saying, Rochelle, but I keep thinking that this was all journalists trying to make it better afterwards. Like Caitlin Collins didn't say anything when asked about, oh, how did you feel when he was attacking you? And he was saying, you never smile, and she didn't say anything. I'm sorry, what does that do for journalism? Why didn't you say you're a horse's ass?
She was thinking it, and I'm sure that her eyes said it, but she's scared too. I would be scared. Her life. This is a mob boss guy. She did the respectful thing to take care of herself. And what about that young woman?
Why
that
was she
also-
there? Why did she go?
She deserved that honor.
Yeah.
She deserved to say that she earned it. And what about that a young woman who said her family had been threatened?
Yeah.
She was there and she stood on the same stage as him. That took huevos. I give her a lot of credit for doing what she did. It took a lot of huevos. You know, huevos, eggs. It took her a lot of guts to stand on that stage with him because she didn't know if that night someone would be following her car all the way home. That's what we have in that White House. He's dangerous.
And they subjected Donald Trump to a night of letting him try to do a rally, and everybody just, basically, a couple of polite chuckles. When my wife told me one joke he told that was funny, and I laughed, and she was like, I was like, no, that's funny. He said that the cow was provided by Robert Kennedy Jr. from Roadkill. Something to that
pretty
effect.
funny,
That is damn funny. That's actually self-effacing. But other than that, I thought, he just met a room full of stone-faced
So
journalists.
who thought it was a good idea to do this?
I'm proud
I
of the
think
people
it was
that
fine.
earned their awards.
Really?
I
hated it.
disinviting him would have been great. But if you're not, I think they made the best of it.
Didn't he invite
I don't
himself?
see the need for this whole event. And this predates Trump. I thought
Didn't
it
he
was.
invite himself though? Was he
Yeah, well,
invited?
now it
He
is.
invited himself.
Yes.
I believe that he said he wouldn't come. He wasn't going to sit there and be roasted.
Oh well, then.
And so there was a comedian they
That
hired and then disinvited her.
And then they had a
Amber,
magician.
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, that was bad. I think that was a bad call.
And the magician could have wished him away.
Make him disappear. He's not a very good
They
magician.
could have made him disappear.
I don't know. I don't think it was journalism's finest moment.
Maybe not the finest moment, but maybe in a
I
little
think
way.
journalists are starting to
That
chicken out.
Caitlin, she
over
stood
and
up
over
to
and
him.
over.
I give her
And they're
credit.
not going for the big stories.
Didn't she come up, just read something about, that Caitlin Collins came and did some little Budweiser's thing afterwards or something that. because she was.
No, afterwards, they wanted her comment, she refused to comment.
No, but I think I saw something that had a comment, a thing with her with the Budweiser thing, because he made a thing about.
Yeah, he was calling her a trans man.
Yeah. So she took that and ran with it on something. I think I saw a meme or something about that with her with Budweiser.
I don't know, I wish she weren't even there all dressed up for him and.
She wasn't dressed up for him. She wasn't dressed.
What was she dressed up for?
Right.
What was she dressed up for?
Herself.
To take
Oh,
her
come
honor, she earned her writing. She did a great job.
I never even heard of those honors.
Oh, smile.
Did you?
Would you?
Did you ever hear the White House
was-
Correspondents
it's not-
Association? The White House Corps has always been this group of elite journalists who sit and wait to be fed information from the White House. They do not do the reporting. They did not do Watergate. They did not do the Pentagon Papers. They never did. The investigative reporters should have been getting those awards.
Well,
They were not there,
The
except for
folks
although
at
the Wall
the,
Street
I think
Journal
the
was.
folks at the Times who broke the,
Yeah, and
broke the story
the
on the plane.
security.
And then the Times won the lawsuit and they came
And-
back with 2 more stories.
Right, and the Wall Street Journal too.
Yeah.
With the Epstein
And those are,
birthday
those,
card.
I believe they're members of the Correspondents Association.
No, I don't know.
And does Murdoch own the Wall Street Journal?
Murdoch owns the
He
Wall
owns
Street
it.
Journal.
He already does.
Another great friend of democracy.
But he is not,
We need to end
destroyed
this.
it.
And it's not because I'm losing the argument. We have to end this now. Thank you so much. You were a great audience. This was really fun.
Thank you, Siskel and Ebert.
What?
Thank you, Siskel and Ebert.
Oh my goodness.
Great popcorn.